So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the last 3 days and what I've experienced before it becomes just so far away in my mind. It was just one of those things where I don't know if the trauma from it all is gonna just kind of, you know, how sometimes your mind just erases things to protect yourself. So I just want to have it on record of what I felt today. Today is the 27th of December. So my grandma died Christmas morning, which I'm thankful because she's been in so much pain. She really has been in so much pain, but I consider it a blessing that I'm 30 years old and this is the first time that someone very, very close to me has died. It wasn't close to my mom's mother. And I'm just very blessed in that regard that I've never really dealt with loss like this of a beloved family member that I just rarely as a person. So, I was at Derek's family's house when I got the news, and I was completely shattered. I was literally shattered. My initial question was, can I see her? Can we be with her? Can we be at the funeral? Can we go to the house? And these are the normal questions that someone should have after their grandparent has died. Is, can we see them? Can we be at the funeral? All these sorts of things. It's not normal. But in this case, it is. It's not our choice to be separated like this. That's what they've done. It's just so hard. How do you navigate these uncharted territories? Like, I've played it 1,000 times in my mind since we left the cold. How will this go? Like, will grandma or grandpa die first? And how will it go? And in my mind, I've always been at the grave. I've always been there. And I was like, there's no way they're gonna take that away from me. Just no way. And then just like the emotional buildup that I've been experiencing since Christmas morning of just, will I be able to be there? Just sickening. My sister Abby and I were not allowed to visit my grandma's body because we have chosen to be in relationships with men that are outside of, they're of the world, essentially. They're of the world, they're worldly, and we have chosen to make that link and that connection with them. So because of that, my grandpa said we weren't allowed to go. He's in her rat parade, literally. There was a wreck. How is it? Do I still go? Do I cause a scene? Do I disrespect my grandpa's wishes? Even though I know my grandma would want me there. The next day, I found out that there'd been a change of heart. Thank the Lord for that. That my dad's brother Norman had convinced my grandpa that grandma loved us. And she did. You know, we loved her very much. And that it just wasn't right to keep us from her, or keep us from that. And so, eternally grateful for what Norman said, whatever it was that he said exactly to Grandpa, and how see how disgusting that decision was. So yesterday on the 26th, all 6 of us and Derek went over to the house, to my grandparents' house, to see her body and visit my grandpa. And there was a lot of anticipation with that, just because visiting family like my Uncle Norman and his wife Janet, who I haven't seen since 2009 due to the cult and just the separation they have to abide by. Walked in and we were all wearing skirts, dresses. It was a very nice time. We stood around my grandma's body and we laughed, we cried, then we laughed and we cried some more, and we told the few memories that came to us in that moment. I'm just so thankful. Just to think that I initially was robbed from that, and Abby. I'm just so thankful that in the end we were able to do that. So then after that, there was all the buzz of, well, we obviously can't go to the service at the meeting, so we're not even going to try. Like, I had never in my mind in a million years was going to the meeting a desire of mine. It's a curiosity, like, I want to know, like, what hymns they gave out and what was said, and I wish I could have been there, but, like, not. Just, like, kind of, like, invisible, like, just a fly on the wall type of situation, but I never would have wanted to be there and sit in the meeting, even if they allowed it, but we didn't ask, and they didn't obviously invite us, so that was just left as that. But our whole family did go to the graveside, minus Derek. There was a lot of brethren there. There was a lot. There was a lot more than I ever imagined there to be. I felt nervous at first. Mostly of, like, what are they going to think of us? Once we got out of the car, I felt just like an overwhelming sense of peace. I did allow for a little bit of separation in where I was standing from them. Like, I wasn't, like, shoulder to shoulder in them. I was probably, like, 6 to 8 feet away, like, behind. Like, I couldn't even hear my grandpa's words as he was praying over her body. Like, we were far enough away that we couldn't hear that, but still close enough that, like, everyone saw us and knew we were there. Like, there wasn't any pointing. I thought there was going to be a lot of pointing, and it's so hard to explain. My mom said there was whispering. I didn't notice the whispering, mostly because I was looking down and I was looking up, and I was also crying. It just really hurt me to see other people surrounding my grandpa, and we couldn't be there surrounding my grandpa. You just had to stand back. And that was so hard. I'm really, really glad we were there. Yeah. I don't know if I asked my dad if he was gonna shovel. I don't know how it started, but I was like, well, if you're gonna shovel, I'm gonna shovel. That's how the brethren do it, is everyone, all the men at the church take turns shoveling dirt over the casket and the body until all the dirt's gone. Like, that's something they do out of respect. That's a tradition that the brethren have had for as long as I ever remember. What I didn't know is that there's never been a woman grab the shovel. I knew it was men, but I guess I never, like, not even once, like, there was never a daughter or a sister or no one, like, no lady ever picked a shovel up before. I didn't know that, but the funeral director did tell me that in all his years, he didn't say, like, dealing with the brethren, but he is the funeral director that deals with the brethren. He said in all the years of doing this, he's never seen a lady with the shovel. So I feel honored to have gotten to scoop some dirt over her grave and to maybe, just make an impression, to make a positive impression. Like, girls, if you want a shovel, grab that shovel. But if you want to help. Like, don't let those gender roles, like, it's not just a man's job. It's just been a flurry of emotions, and yes, you can come, no, you can't come, actually this, actually that. Just thankful we were able to view her body and that we were able to see the casket be lowered and watch her be covered, and her body is at rest, and her soul is in paradise. And I am just so thankful that I knew her and that she was my grandma, and that despite the cult and the separation, she always picked up the phone call. She always let me in the house. She always wrote me letters. I'm just thankful that she was just such a good grandma. Very involved grandma, especially in her younger years. Yeah, so it's just been a lot to deal with. So I look forward to tomorrow. My grandma's at rest. Me too. I am thankful that she was a believer, that she loved the Lord. And she always told me, whatever you do, just keep the Lord in your life. My plan too, Grandma. Thank you for just being you. You were rude sometimes. You said some mean things, and you weren't always the nicest, but the good outweighs the bad, and I choose to remember you because my grandma deeply loved me.